Good afternoon and welcome to with Emily. Welcome, Emily. I love that. It's my little fun bit. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm like, very honoured to have you on here. For those of you who are, I'll just check on Facebook. Can you just do a little introduction for yourself? So basically, give me your little background. Yoga. Do you do Pilates as well, or? Anyway, you do your background and I'll check if anyone's watching and if they've got any questions.
Okay, great. Awesome. I'm Emily and Samantha's asked me to come on today to give you guys a little meditation, which is really exciting. My background is, where do I start? I started in the wellness industry, just working reception at a gym, and then became a group fitness manager, personal trainer, Pilates instructor, and then yoga instructor. So I've kind of worked my way through the more physical stuff to then tapping into the breath and actually coming into the body a little bit more. And then now it's all more the life coaching stuff and using yogic philosophy to tap into yourself rather than just focusing on the external.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
We've got a few people watching, so thank you. Welcome. Please hit like or hearts or any questions for Emily. I've got my sister watching. Hey, hi, Jeannie. She was on last week. Yes, and she's my real sister. A few people have just thought I was saying sister, like she's my soul sister. She actually is my real sister. Yes. So the reason I just wanted anyone to put any questions is because you'll be sharing a bit of a topic of which I think many women and men experience a lot of, and that's the binge eating and the issues around food that a lot of us have, emotional eating, binge eating, stuff like that. And I thought some people may have, some questions. I just got a wave. Thank you. There's a wave from Jeannie. So it takes a little while for them to come through, but let's just have a chat anyway. I know that I personally might probably started from my mum. Really, my mum she was a little mentally unstable or eccentric, however you'd like to call it. And I remember her waking me up at 1 o'clock in the morning to eat like sweet balls. She used to make these little balls out of milk powder and really sweet, and coconut, and roll them up and like a rum ball, but she called them sweet balls, and they didn't have rum and they were white, kind of like. Then we get up at 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, oh, this is so cool, and eat sweet balls and stuff and go back to sleep. And the mum was always like eating. And then like she also had some maybe bulimic, anorexic, not sure what her things were, but yeah, she had a lot of issues around food. And so that's how we grew up as well. And so I can binge still. I'm a long way down the path of healing. People go, oh, you don't have any weight on you, so why is it a problem? And for me, it still is a problem, because I'm not dealing with, whatever the issue is at hand. I'm just eating. Oh, that feels good. And so yesterday, why I didn't really share with you before we started talking was yesterday I did a binge on Netflix, right? Like a really big, and I've done a few, but today I really felt crap for it. Like in the same way it would have been for the food, I felt like I didn't move enough. I feel a bit everything was very similar. Do you think? So I'm gonna put
There's so many ways that we can binge these days. Like binge eating is just like my history, but I've had those binges with Netflix as well. And quite often actually they're paired with the food, because like
yes, and let's get a packet of chips out and eat the chips. And the kids are always like, we're watching stuff, we need popcorn, we need this, and that's what we do. And I'm like, yeah, it is what we do.
Yeah. And there's so many layers to what you just shared as well. Like, first of all, so many of us grew up in that environment. Like my mum was always dieting as well. Like I remember being on a juice diet, drinking like celeriac juice when I was, I don't know, probably like 10. I definitely wasn't a teenager yet. And I just think that's crazy. But like my mum saw me with a figure that I didn't want, that I believed was incorrect, a bit of chub here, a bit of chub there. And so,
at 10?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, girls as young as 8 are controlling their diets now, and there's been heaps of studies on it, and one recently came out that girls as young as 5 are being aware of that their bodies are different to other bodies. So it's crazy stuff. But the thing is that, like, my mom, and I'm sure your mom as well, were intentionally trying to teach us this habit which we think is destructive. You know,
Yeah.
they were almost unaware that, you know, being overweight and trying to control that, or even what overweight means, was a problem, you know. And this is the issue that we come up against a lot, is the perception of being overweight, which is actually a fallacy for a lot of us, because it's calculated off this BMI shit that was created by the weight loss culture and is actually super incorrect as to dictating health or vitality or vibrancy in the body. And so we think that we're overweight, or we think that we need to control what we eat, when actually there's nothing wrong with us. Yeah. And and then going into what you were saying about, like, yesterday eating, binge watching Netflix, you know, there's so many layers to that as well. It's done. So, you know, then we have the layer of practicing just letting it go.
Yeah.
Which is so hard for us, because we're taught that, like, you know, we should be productive, we should be doing a whole day in front of the TV is wrong. That makes us bad in our core, you know?
Yeah. And, you know, I'm totally like, give myself the lashings for what I did. And often I'm aware of that. Sorry, I'm doing fish food around. I could see it in the background. It was bothering me. It was just the back of it. Yeah. I can be really good with it. You know, I've chosen this. I'm choosing to binge. It's a conscious binge. I'm enjoying it. I'm going to stop at this stage, and I'm going to do some other things, you know. So I think I'm often okay with it. I go, I could have done something better with my day or whatever. But yesterday was just sort of really, I don't know, like I felt it today. Like when you've done something really unhealthy, like you've really, like I felt it badly. So it was excess, you know. I think, I don't believe in restricting too much. I think, I think what you're saying is being very conscious and choosing, and then when you've done it, just letting it go. And I totally agree with that. But yeah, yesterday felt like, you know what, we need to make some changes. I was even Googling Netflix addiction, and I was reading the list, and I thought, ooh, I might tick in some of those things. I'm like, you know, obviously the fact that I'm Googling it and looking at it is, I think there's a little bit of a problem. So that's, you know, we're going to.
Definitely. The other thing is that often we have some kind of like pre-constructed idea of how long we're allowed to do these things for, you know. So what if you had this day yesterday, and then today you still felt like shit, so you just cleared your day and did it again, maybe, and then tomorrow you woke up sparkly and amazing, you know. But we often I know it feels so like, oh, I already did it for one day. But it's this idea that we as women, we're doers, we're whatever you want to put in there, and we should only need to rest for this amount of time, you know. Then we need to get back on the horse and be this amazing woman who ticks all the boxes. And it's just, we're so hard on ourselves.
So from what I get from a lot of your messages, and you've got some really powerful Instagram posts, and I don't think you do Facebook that much. You're too young, aren't you? I haven't seen much Facebook, but I've seen your Instagram stuff. And that is a strong message of yours. It's okay that I eat the chocolate. It's okay that I overate this. It's okay. I think, you know, I remember a long time ago you're showing cellulite. It's okay. You know, this isn't, oh no, we've lost you. Oh, you're there. You're frozen. I thought you were gone. You were just totally frozen. Okay. You were just so engrossed in what I was saying. No, it's saying my internet connection's unstable. Hopefully it's okay for everyone. But yeah, and showing cellulite is normal. So it's a normal, all this stuff is normal, and to embrace yourself and kind of let go of all the restrictions within reason. I know that, like, yeah, I often will say something, but sugar's not that good for you, and this is not, is what I can't help but say. But I get what your message is.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, definitely.
I'll let
Well,
you.
all of these things are the symptoms, all of it's like, it's something within our body feels wrong, or we feel something that we don't want to feel. And so we reach to Netflix to try to kill time until it passes. Or we reach to food to try to just stuff it in so we're so full we can't feel that anymore. So it doesn't really matter what our choice is of how we're trying to escape that feeling, but instead what we need to look at is, what is that feeling and why can't we hold that? Where are we trying to escape? Where are we not comfortable in our body? Where are we not comfortable in our lives? How are we not comfortable with what's happening right now? And that's actually what we need to start to look at. Not, oh, how do I eat less? How do I stop eating chocolate? All of these things are just cover-ups, and they never work. That's why with the diet industry, we just get stuck in it, because we're trying to control the symptom all the time. But that feeling there, we still don't know how to deal with it. So we try this diet, we try that diet, and it's just, you get stuck.
And a lot of that feeling will come from your mind, from your upbringing, from your parents, and from social media and everything else telling you how you think you should be, therefore you don't feel right.
Exactly.
So what you're saying is you're not addressing people's diets or exercise regimes or any of those things. You're addressing how they feel, because when you work out how you feel, then everything else kind of falls into place.
Falls into place.
Yeah.
Suddenly, like those days with Netflix, you might actually watch Netflix all day and enjoy it, because you're not actually escaping something. You're just being in the moment, and that's what you want to do, and you're accepting of that. There's not all of the extra stuff that comes with it, because we layer story onto story onto story onto story. I feel like shit, so I'm going to watch Netflix. Watching Netflix is bad. I haven't done anything today, so I'm really bad. That means I've got to do this tomorrow to make up for it. Like, we add all of these layers onto this thing that we do, and it's just like torture.
Okay. And so what would you suggest? Like, obviously it's bigger than this, but some tips you would suggest when people are kind of going through that? Like, what would you say to me for yesterday? I get the letting go, but during, maybe checking in or.
Yeah, definitely checking in. Well, I mean, the fastest way to come back to the body is through the breath. And I know that you know that, and you would have heaps of breath tools as well. But often,
it's okay, but for everyone, because I mean, we all learn from each other anyway. So, I love to hear what you've got to say. You're my teacher. We're all each other's teachers. So, please fire away. Tell me what you think.
Well, like you said, it's kind of tricky to just like dish out tools, because if you wanted a tool to stop binge eating or to come back into your body, you can like YouTube that and you'll get a tool. But most often, like 99% of the time, people don't action them. And so it's not actually the tool that is it's the commitment. How do I want to say this? So it's not actually the tool. So I could give you a tool. I could give you a breathing practice right now, but say if there was 5 people who were watching, one person might go away and practice it, and then after a week, they probably won't anymore. Yeah, because there's so many layers that are stopping us from practicing something that's going to help us, in the mind. But generally saying the breath is the perfect way to just stop what you're doing immediately, because we don't notice the breath, but it's always happening, which is amazing. And without it, we can't live. So it's this pretty cool thing, right? Yeah. It's pretty cool. And so when we do notice it, when we consciously notice it, sort of coming in the nostrils and out of the nostrils, And we even bring like a count to it. So we're consciously breathing in for a certain count and breathing out for a certain count. And we're completely focused just on that sensation and just on that as a practice, as something we're doing right now. It's very hard to be out in the thoughts and in the discomfort and out in the craziness, because you have to concentrate so much. And you're actually filling your body with life force, with something that you need. Yeah. And you can expand that as well. So you can breathe longer with different counts, and that will actually bring in more life force, more vitality into the body as well. So, and when we do a meditation, we're going to do a little bit of breath in there, of course. So that'll make more sense.
Because it just made me think, while I was sitting there, I wonder, I don't think I check in with my breathing all that much while I was Netflixing. But, I could have been just crap shallow breathing the whole time. I don't know, and then lounging this way or lounging that way. Not great, but that's fine. But,
totally.
So I get what you mean. Like, not many people are actually going to go and Google something in the middle of a binge, I suppose. So it takes practice all the time, like I assume it's, if someone were going to learn how to do this with you, because you have a course, don't you? What's your course called again?
Body is Truth. Yeah. And it's actually
body is truth.
As truth.
Body as truth.
Yeah, accepting our body as truth. Yeah.
Yeah. And so do we like to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah.
I assume you teach a lot of, it's the tools, but as you said, like if you just drop it and don't come back to it again, then it's not really helpful. So obviously you need tools in as such that in your course it would be maybe accountability, talking, I'll let you talk about your course because I'm just putting stuff in.
Oh, you nailed it. Yeah, you nailed it. Yeah, so this is actually the first time I'm going to be running a group course to this extent. So I'm really excited, and it'll probably start in like 6 weeks or so. Perhaps we'll see. But it is based around all of the processes that you need to get out of the binge and burnout cycle and feel good in your body and keep moving forward rather than continually coming back to that start point all the time. And like you said, there are tools in there, and these are the tools that I use, things that I've tried and tested for years. And that's what I'll be sharing. But of course, yes, that element of accountability comes into it as well. Because in my experience, like I kept trying different diets all the time, thinking that it was my way of eating or my way of exercising that needed to change to shift the habit. And that wasn't the case at all. It was because I kept dipping into the same source, which is myself, as a reference point to try to get over something that was within myself. So actually, when I found somebody that I trusted to guide me and support me, whenever I had those moments of absolute like overwhelm and like, rah, and, say I had a day, like you had, but it was eating, I just binged all day. And the next day I just felt like, what's the point? I would show up and I would go to my coach and I would go to all of my community and I would be like, this is what happened. And I would just blurt out everything that was in my brain and allow somebody else to give their perspective on what happened and hold my hand through it and look at me the same, because you don't look at yourself the same when you do those things as well. You look at yourself and you go, you are bad. You are a bad person now. And when other people mirror back to you going, yeah, that's cool. Like, still here. It's so powerful. So this is what I want to give to other women as well, this experience that I had. So I'll be looking for about 10 women who will be interested in holding other women's hand as well and creating that supportive community and working together and implementing the tools and then showing up when they haven't and us figuring out why they can't, what's still in the way. And then finally getting rid of the cycle,
Beautiful. At what point did you decide, was there a pivotal point in your life where it was just, you went, oh my God, this cycle of eating and exercising and dieting and stuff has just got to end? Or was it kind of like a gradual process? Was there Was there a low point, high point?
It was definitely a low point. Yeah, definitely. I moved to London for a couple of years, which was amazing, and this perfect experience where I got to start over. And I was binging like less and less, like hardly at all, but I hadn't really got rid of the habit for good. But binging every few months, like that was nothing compared to what I used to do. So I wasn't really that fussed. And when my partner and I moved back to Sydney, after living in London, it was like I was in my old environment again, had like my old friends and just in my old neighborhood, and all of this stuff just flooded back to me. And it was terrifying. And I started binging again, like every few days even. And I felt so low and had no direction in my life. I picked up a few Pilates classes, but I wasn't really into it. I couldn't find somewhere to be a personal trainer because I didn't like the ethos of the gyms that I went to in Sydney. They were all very like, and you must look this way to work here. And I was very much more of like a feel-good personal trainer rather than a like get toned personal trainer. So yeah, I basically just felt like I didn't fit in. And so that's when I really started searching, and that's when I found my coach. Yeah, and started to kind of understand a little bit more and break those barriers down for good.
Beautiful. You're in Adelaide now, is that right?
I am in Adelaide now, yes. Yeah.
And how is it down there? How's the weather down there? It's really warm today up here.
I just looked at the weather. Yeah. It's been so strange today. It's been completely sunny and now it's all grey clouds. And I think you guys had that yesterday as well, didn't you? Or
yeah, it rained yesterday. No, today's really warm, but yeah, it's just gone cloudy. It was really hot and cloudy. What do we got? Marie saying hi. Hi, Marie.
Hi, Marie.
Hi, Marie. And my niece, Kaya. Hi, Kaya. Lovely.
So beautiful. Family jumps on and supports you.
Yeah, so sweet. All right, so I don't know if there was any. Your course is starting 1st of November. Is that right? And
around
then.
Round about then. So we'll see.
How long does it go for?
I'll be doing about 4 months. Yeah.
4 months.
So I actually think that this will be like my pilot one, sort of like the foundation course. I do actually want to do it for 6 months, but I'm just going to start with 4. Yeah. Because this takes time. This did not change overnight. So
I love that.
I
love that you acknowledge that, because there's so many courses out there saying, overnight pretty much you're going to have this body or this, or this much money or whatever. And it's nice to hear somebody saying, actually, no, it does take time. It took you time to get there in the first place. It'll take you time. Michelle, hi Michelle. Thank you for watching. Michelle Play, namaste. I love that.
Right. Totally. I was sick of working with people for like 6 weeks, and then they sort of just oh cool, am I fixed now?
Yeah.
And and I felt like that as well when I did things, these 6-week programs, and you're just like, oh, okay, I'm done now, and the reality is that it takes a
bit of life work. And as you were saying, you kind of were on top of it when you went to London, and then you came back and you were triggered by the Sydney environment. And I think that's one of the other lovely things about these types of courses, that not only do you have the accountability, but you get to meet other people, other like-minded people who are on the same type of journey, and meet some new friends and kind of lift up out of that old cycle that kept you there. I mean, whenever you want to grow, you need new people, new environment, new habits, new tools. So it's lovely that it's a long course. That's beautiful. Good on you. I don't want to do any ones that long.
But you haven't you?
I've been in them, but I don't want to teach them. Yeah. No, I think it's a great to be in a long supportive course like that, where I've met lots of friends and there's been massive change and growth. I think what you're doing is definitely effective and works. That's the key thing, works, because you want to change. You know, I think another one of your sayings is that you like to use is break up with your brain, because that's where most of this stuff is coming from in your mind. I mean, you know, it came from core beliefs, et cetera, but it's all in there.
Exactly. Yeah.
Reminding you.
Oh, totally. Yeah. And I love that saying, break up with your brain, because there's another saying that most of us in society, we're walking around like heads on sticks. So we're completely out of our body. We're just all focused up here. All our energy is up here. And yeah, that's what I'm actually going to talk to in our meditation today as well, because when we're just completely deciding everything from up here, we're only making those decisions based off like past experiences, logic, safety, comfort, and not actually what feels good, not those heart-centered decisions based on like love and like acceptance and things that like light us up from here, or
Yes.
from our gut, from our body, that makes us feel grounded and powerful. You know, we're just all
Yeah, and that's I'm glad you reminded me of that, because that's pretty much exactly what I did this morning. I went straight into this morning has been in my head, and I was just like, and then trying to sit down and do work, and it's all like, and then I started to get a headache, and I was just like, you know what, I just need to go out and do something in my body. But I ran out of time. But like I had vacuumed, and I just started doing more physical things just to get, you know, because at the time I didn't have enough time to go and do yoga or exercise. But I thought, well, I can physically move and be in my body by doing those physical aspects of the work that I had to do today, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I realized that was happening. I was going completely up into my head. And I'm like, yeah. Looking forward to you bringing me back down into my heart, into my gut. And is there anything else you want to share, or would you like to lead us into that now?
Yes, I might just speak to what the meditation is just a little bit.
Yes,
I know I just touched on that, but when we are in our head a lot, which most of us are, we're out of the body. So we're not grounded, we're not making those hard decisions like I mentioned. And so it's like we're off balance. And people are always searching for balance in their lives, you know. Clients come and I just want to feel balanced. I just want to feel like aligned. I feel so out of balance and overwhelmed. And that's because only one of our power centers is driving everything in our lives. So we've just given too much power to our mind. And it's not a bad guy, it's just that he's taking over. So we want to bring balance to the mind, the heart, and the gut. And in this meditation, we just call the gut the body, but we'll be focusing around that navel center. And to do that, what we need to do is just bring awareness to the area. So when we're in our head, we're not really aware of our body. So if I asked you, you know, what your arm feels like or something, you'd have to really stop and like think about, oh, how do I feel? You know, rather than being tapped in all the time. So this is going to be really simple today. But it's just about bringing our focus to that area. And if you are heaps in your head, or you have been today, or you just generally have that habit, that's cool. This guy will keep like going and trying to tug your attention back to what you have to do later, or what you did earlier, or whatever it is. And just like gently, every time you notice that, you just bring it back to the point we're focusing on. It's not about being hard on yourself or being like, come back, you know. It's about softly bringing your attention back. So I just wanted to say that, because a lot of people can actually get so frustrated during meditation, which I'm sure you know as well, like, the thoughts again, I'm not meant to be focusing on that, you know.
Yeah, and some people think I should have this empty mind, and that's what meditation is. And yeah, that may be the end goal for a lot of people, but most people, the thoughts don't end, not for long anyway. And it's just sitting and letting them not pull you away, as you described. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I love the river analogy as well. I don't know if you've heard that one, where the river are your thoughts, and you're sitting on the bank watching the river as your thoughts go by, or you're anchored on a boat in the river. Either way, you're sort of on the edge, or I like anchored in the boat. So you're anchored in the boat, you've got the anchor down, and the thoughts are going by, and you're keeping your anchor there so you can stay there and not go down the river and over the waterfall, which is what a lot of people do, you know, like, no, and then all of a sudden everything is crap, you know, they've gone over the waterfall.
Yeah.
just
And that's
in their mind.
layered on stories
Yeah.
that I was talking about earlier. Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's well, you've gone, damn.
Yeah.
And then you
Love
need
that.
accountability and to be held and to be seen for what is real.
Mm,
And that
exactly.
none of that is real. Yeah.
I love that.
Beautiful.
All right. Should we go into it?
Sure. I will mute myself during so you don't get any interference.
Okay, beautiful. And I'm just going to presume that the, what's it called? The noise, the volume that I'm speaking at is good for you guys. So if it's not, feel free to change that now. Beautiful. All right, so I just want you to take a minute or so to make your body as comfortable as you can. So instead of sitting just where you are, you can have a little bit of a fidget and find a place where you feel like you can sit for a little while without any body parts tugging at your attention. You might even like to sit with your back against a wall or take pillows, and if you're cross-legged, just popping them under the knees. And since the body being comfortable is our priority, just really give yourself a second to find that comfortable seat. And we like the spine to be nice and lengthened. So if it's not already, just draw the crown of the head a little bit further towards the ceiling. Think about creating a long spine. And then let's consciously breathe. So as you inhale, find a count of 3. It's going to be your count. And as you exhale, 3 or more. And you'll draw the air in through the nostrils and breathe out through the nostrils as well. Deep breaths. And it might take a moment for that mind to start to settle. And just focusing on the count of your breath and allowing your focus to just settle there. As you continue with your count, just notice the top of your head. Allow the top of the head to relax, like the skull plates are melting. And the back of the eyes, let them relax and soften. And then the space between the teeth and the tongue, the roof of the mouth, just let it soften and relax. Allow your shoulders to soften and relax. And even though you're sitting upright, you can let the belly soften and relax. Let the belly muscles just drop. And the focus comes back to the breath. If it's gone anywhere else, you inhale for 3 and you exhale a little longer. The whole body is soft. And gently shift your awareness to your heart center. So somewhere around the middle of the chest. You might just picture a light. And we'll work with a mantra. My heart, I love you. And so keeping your attention focused just on this area. You can repeat with me if you like, or internally is also an option, or just listen. My heart, I love you. 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 2 more times. My heart, I love you. My heart, I love you. And just continue internally, just to yourself, repeating the mantra. Keeping your focus gently on the point to your heart center. 2 or 3 more times. And then gently just let that mantra fade away. And bring your attention to the third eye, the area between the eyebrows, and just back a little bit, maybe an inch or so, so that your awareness sits in the midbrain. And the mantra here is, my mind, I love you. So when you're ready, you can chant out loud with me, or internally is fine, or listen. My mind, I love you. 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 2 more times out loud. I love you. My mind, I love you. Just continue internally repeating the mantra to yourself. Soft focus on third eye. 2 or 3 more. And gently bring your attention down to the navel, just behind the belly button. Anywhere in that hip region is fine. And here we'll work with the mantra, my body, I love you. When you're ready, out loud, internally, or just listening. My body, I love you. 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 Two more. My body, I love you. My body, I love you. Just repeating internally to yourself. Two or three more. And just allow the mantra to gently fade away. Your awareness is down at the base of your body. You can take it right to the tailbone. We'll come back to the breath. As you inhale for your count of 3, take that awareness from your tailbone up the spine, linking each of these 3 power centers to the crown of the head. And as you exhale, take your breath and your attention down the spine to the tailbone. You might breathe out for a count of 5 or 6. So as you breathe in, bring the breath, the attention up the spine, count of 3. As you exhale, take your attention down the spine. And you can picture a point of light moving with you if that's helpful. If not, just noticing the energy move, the awareness move. The body stays soft, back of the eyes soft, shoulders soft, belly soft. And each time that your mind might tug at your attention, just bring it back to following the breath up and down the spine. Find your count. You might have 1 or 2 more breaths. And then just softly letting that go. And just sit and notice what's left. Your awareness can be anywhere within your body. And just notice any sensations. It's your body's language, its way of speaking to you. And for some of us, we may be more sensitive to warmth. You may feel a heat in the hands or in the head, anywhere in your body, and just bring your attention to that and notice it. You might feel a tingling in the fingertips or in the feet. You might notice the movements of the rib cage as you breathe. Just noticing your body, noticing sensation, heat or vibration or movement. Just be completely interested in what's happening in your internal environment now. I'll just give you space for a minute or 2 to notice that, to be with that. Then you'll hear my voice again. Gently bring your hands together at heart center and allow the head to drop just a little. And with the hands connected like this, you can feel that it draws the energy inwards. And we'll finish our practice just by internally listing a few things we feel grateful for or appreciative to today. It may be a beautiful breakfast that we've had, or the sun shining. It could be a nice hot shower. Whatever it is, I'll give you a little bit of space. 3 or 4 things you feel really grateful for. Consciously draw them into your awareness. And then we'll seal this practice with the mantra Hari Om, Om Tat Sat. And it talks about weaving our magic, this magic that we feel, back into life. Hari Om, Om Tat Sat. And then as you're ready, you're welcome to just slowly move, blink open the eyes, and come back to your space.
Thank you, Emily. Very nice. Lovely. Yeah, I love the mantra. Very nice. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice one. Often we don't give ourselves that feeling of love. We look for it, from other people as well. So, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Is that a tattoo you've got on your arm?
Yes. Yes.
What is that? Can we see? Can I see it?
I've got a little
aeroplane. An aeroplane and a
aeroplane, yeah.
And what's the other little thing?
A little tiny eye. Yeah.
Oh, an eye. Cool. Like the evil eye?
Yes. Yeah. Or third eye or some
always traveling.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Adventure.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Emily. So if anyone's interested in Emily's course or just looking or following Emily's Instagram, there'll be some links. I don't know about links to the course, but if you follow her Instagram, I'm sure you'll be putting something there, won't you? If anyone is interested in that, in going on that journey with you. Got a few little hearts happening. Thank you, everybody. Next week, also, we have going back to Hawaii to speak to Louisa. And I don't know if she's going to do like a little mini healing or a meditation. I don't know. She's yet to let me know, but that will be exciting. She's pregnant and in beautiful Hawaii. She's going to share some stuff with us. So that will be a good one too. All right. Thank you. Have a lovely...
This is an awesome thing that you've cultivated and created, Sam. So yeah, thank you so much for having me and doing this.
I like it. Thank you. Namaste. I'll just end. See you.